Hello folks, good weekend. This is Doc Severson for the ReadySetCrypto OMNIA trade of the day for Sunday, the 10th of October. All right, I'm going to keep this one relatively short because I just got back into town today and I want to cut this video tonight on Sunday night to get this in your hands before the week starts. So looking as we normally do at Bitcoin versus the US dollar on the the monthly log chart, we can see that our North Star is still doing really well. And even as we got to the end of September, we were still a little bit shaky about this trend. Weren't sure if we needed to see the price come back down to here again before getting the energy to rebound. But everything looks pretty good. The only thing I would say is the volume is not really there as before, right? We're not seeing a whole lot of trading volume. And as Checkmate points out all the time, it's because most of the holders are just holding on to it. They're not trading it. So it's a matter of new players are accumulating less. Now back to the linear weekly chart. This is the most important thing that's happened this week. This is a huge week for this. And we went from a weekly downtrend with lower highs and lower lows to all of a sudden we went to a higher high. We went to a higher low, which is something I was yelling for, but to really get the whole deal here, we had to have the price take out the former highs at about 53,000. That happened this week. This is a huge week for this change in polarity back up to the upside. The stage is now set. Now, this is what we do from a price and volume perspective. That all looks good. Let's start to add a little bit more color to this with the RSI Laguerre. Let's see whether or not we have the energy to support further trending. Now, what we always talk about is range contraction with big energy levels leads to range expansion. And then range expansion will take the gas gauge down here into empty. And then what has to happen is we have to see this consolidate, build up the energy again before it can set up to the top. Now, we had a big energy peak here and we were not sure if it is going to go higher or lower at that point. It chose to go to the downside. And that's mostly because the monthly chart needed time to restore itself. So what's going on now? We have a weekly trend to the upside. And most of these candles have been green. We had a couple of red candles along the way here, a little bit of like, oh no, China's out. Nobody cares, right? So we do have a weekly uptrend in play right now, although we're getting close to weekly exhaustion. So right now what we're seeing is a level which is good for about 45, which is still a pretty good level of energy. But as we get down into the dotted line here, this is where we get exhaustion. So this might go for another week or two, and probably this is going to get the price right back up to the former highs near 60,000, and it may consolidate there for a little while. What we may end up seeing is sort of the same cup with handle pattern that we see all the time. Now, looking at the monthly chart, it actually looks great. The monthly chart, all of this has just been several months of non-linear price action since the spring, starting in April, May, June, July, August, September, and now October has been basically trendless price action. This has built the energy back up again. So this is great. Looking at the daily chart, what do we see in the daily chart? We are seeing a high and tight consolidation. So again, what I talked about this week is I want to see this thing flag out near here and provide a high and tight consolidation. Now, today we had a lot of volatility, a lot of range here. It's slightly different whether you're looking at Coinbase or Bitstamp. So I'm going to go with the Coinbase at this point because the only time I use Bitstamp is when I want to look at a decade worth of data. All right, so I can't do that with Coinbase yet. So this is a high and tight consolidation. This is what I love to see. This is going to build up energy very quickly. So you can see the daily chart is exhausted. Weekly chart has a little bit left to go. So this daily chart will recharge things very quickly. We might see a dip back down to 52,000, but that should do it. And that should support a retest of the recent highs. Okay, let's go look at Ethereum while we're here. Not as good. Actually, Bitcoin's been a better looking chart. Now, what this may be showing is that we're about to set up somewhat of an inverted head and shoulders pattern. We may do something like this, which is going to see if we set up the right shoulder here with about a 3,600 neckline. Now, I don't know if this is foretelling the fact that maybe Ethereum is starting to get a lot more competition for platforms. Don't know that yet. Again, I'm just looking at the chart, and that's how I make decisions. Now, across the board on Sunday night, we have about an hour left to trade for the trading week and the trading day. A lot of red here, but you know, when you've been in crypto for long enough, you see 3 to 6% down, you see, well, that's nothing. So a lot of these charts are just in consolidation patterns, and you're starting to see some of these are having better consolidation patterns than others. Like Aave, this is kind of a downtrend. This is a real downer at this point, and it's not really picking up. But some of these like FTM, Phantom, this consolidation is terrific. This is exactly what it needs. So be very picky about what you get into and, you know, go after those assets that are trending well. One of the rock stars from the past week, look at the volume here, has been Shiba, and this is consolidating into that same pattern that I talk about here. This is looking actually pretty good, consolidating, watching the energy go back up again. This one may take a few weeks to consolidate this off, but many coins that we've seen while the market rests like this, some of these meme coins have been blasting higher based on no technical, right? There's no technical resistance. It's just pure demand, which is driving things. So really, I could go through a lot of these and, you know, go point by point. I don't really see any point right now. So look for the ones that have got the stronger primary trend, stay invested into those, or look for entries into those. Ones that have a negative weekly trend, I would stay away from them until they start to show a positive weekly trend. Again, buy things that are going higher in price. It makes the job much easier. That's it for this weekend's report. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, the few hours that are left here, and we'll look forward to another great week here. See you on Monday.